it's so important. Again, I mean, Göran, what you said about deepfake, because that's literally, it's sitting in the back of my head. Because we're putting so much of ourselves out there. We're putting so much of, for those who have got children, for those who have got close friends, we love sharing memories and moments on the internet. And with generative AI being at the helm of everything, those things can be twisted and manipulated. And I think we really need to get back to a point where we as people, as human beings, learn the ability to discern and recognize true authenticity. We have to really learn and discern when we are interacting with people, how genuine they are. Because again, those are the type of cues that you use to make certain decisions. In terms of how you interact with people, how you interact and sort of pivot your approach to certain situations. So yeah, for me, it's really, and I love the fact that you said, Felix, that in spite of what happens, right, there are scenario situations where, yes, it's EQ, we have to manage our behavior, we have to manage the way we relate to those situations, but never ever negotiate who you are. So it's always about that consistency. So I mean, I love what all three of you have said, and I think with that, what you have learned within the context of who you are, Felix, who you are, Göran, Jacques, what you have learned, what you've experienced in 2023. If we shift the lens to 2024, how has those experiences impacted the lens that you look to the future through? And then if we have to talk aspirational or aspirations for next year, has this experience now of 2023 changed how you're planning for next year? And what would that typically look like? And I think, again, it's aspirational. It might change in a month's time, and that's fine. It doesn't mean you're inauthentic, right? But right now, where we are at, based on the experience, how has that influenced, or how's it influencing your planning for going forward?
Well, it ties back, from my part, it ties back a little bit to the how to measure things. I came across a thing a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, which I found quite interesting, and that was looking at young people, how they are paid. And it said it's not only, you should not only consider what you paid in money, but what you paid in wellness, what you paid in recognition, what you paid in career, and maybe also important, what you paid in time. So that means that you get a different perspective, and I kind of adopted that. And going forward, I think I would be, because Jacques, you mentioned about opinions and how much opinions that are out there, and maybe opinions that are posted online or whatever, and they are not followed up. Nobody cares when they made an opinion, they just move on. But you are still there with their opinion. And I think one word here which is important is as well is gratitude. And I think what I've learned in 2023, and which I will take with me in 24, is to be grateful not only for the money part of things, but also for, I mean, I work on my own. I pretty much decide my time when I do things or when I don't do things. That's something I'm actually very grateful for. I have that choice.
Yeah.
Wellness, still healthy, recently at least. But what I would hope for 24 is maybe a little bit more on the recognition part, in the sense that what I do, what I believe in, I think is correct. But I'd like to see that coming back more in other aspects, maybe also the monetary part of things.
That's always a bonus, yes.
It's always a bonus. No, but if we put the whole focus on that, some of the other things like wellness and recognition might not follow.
Yeah,
but if we focus on some of the other things, and also the time part, the finance part might follow as a given.
Yeah. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
And also the pursuit of happiness. I mean, what drives your happiness?
Yeah.
If it is the love of money, then it's a give and receive. Or it's a, you give, or you get and you loss. So if you want to balance it out, I see I'm freezing. When you balance it out, which one takes preference? Which one takes the ownership of who and what drives you? Because I know a lot of people that, for the love of money, have forsaken their families. And I know a lot of people
And
that,
their
for
health.
the love of this, and their health, definitely
Yes.
health. I mean, I'm a
Spot
product
on,
of
yeah.
that. I'm a product of that. And same goes for vice versa. When they put their family and themselves first, it's at the sacrifice of money, or big money. So it's all about life. And one of the big learnings that I've learned this year is you only have one life. And you have to make the best of it every single day. The people you influence, the decisions you make for yourself, all those things drives you, whether it is something that drives you from a religious aspect, from a monetary aspect, from a responsibility aspect. All those things impact. And the one thing that I've learned this year, was the hard way I was forced to learn, was strike a balance. You can't help anybody if you are weak. You can't be of service even to God if you are weak. So you can't be a protector and provider to your family if you are weak. So it's all about, you need to uplift yourself and build yourself up to fulfill certain requirements and needs. That's the important part. Same as for your business as well. If your client is stressed, you can come with your personal stress and also get into that pot. You need to leave whatever you're dealing with in the car. And when you walk into that office, you're something else. I mean, sometimes I'm so tired. A client told me, it's like, Flip, I needed to meet with you because I needed to feed off your energy. And coming back to the balance part is, you need to also know where and how you are spending your energies, because it takes an enormous amount of energy just to get up in the mornings. And it takes even more, and my wife articulated so beautifully the other day, it takes so much effort and energy to walk up straight and to keep your head up high when you are battered and bruised, when you are not in the best financial space, when you're not in the best health space, we're not the best emotional space, to still look up and walk in public. Because social media is one thing, you can glam it up and be far from the truth. But if people see you in person, then you say, that's not how you look on social media, because you look like a shadow of that person. Because that's the real you. You can't hide that, and because it takes even more energy to be a facade. So and that you'll burn out. You'll eventually crash and be exposed. So, but just to walk up and straight and not shoulders down, head down, like, oh crap, I'm not going to survive this day. Or how am I going to get through this? How am I going to pay this bill? Just to walk up straight and still say, this is me. I'm doing the best that I can every day. And that's good enough for me. And it will eventually, like Göran said, all those elements will be, the financial reward will be an outflow of all those things. Because you're looking the part. You are the part. Then you'll get paid because you are and people want to be part of that. People want that. And I
Yeah.
think that's been the biggest learning and driving force for me this year. I mean, like I said, I was done. I told everybody, I'm so done with 2023. Done. And for the past now, then December hit, it gets flipped completely on. It's like now I'm clinging on to 2023 because a lot of the hard work and sacrifices for the past 11 months is
Yeah.
not taking shape. And I'm reminded of is because you didn't give up. You stayed true to yourself. You've been honest. You've been authentic. Or you've been sincere in acknowledging the stress that your clients, your stakeholders, your colleagues are facing, your suppliers are facing. You empathize with them. You try and support them. You try and uplift each other because sometimes, you have a coffee session and you hear someone's issue. It's like, shit, you know what? I actually faced that a few years ago. This is how I got through it. Thanks for that. 2 days later, Brew, I have an urgent order. Can you help me? It's like, and so that's and again, that's in the outflow of just being yourself.
Sure. Love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have put it any better. I think for me, again, not to sound like a broken record, but this year literally has been a year of massive discovery for me. It feels like I had feels like my life right now, just 2023 should have been like Discovery Channel, just someone following my life, because really I was watching through another lens as to all of these things that I was learning, right? So a lot that I learned about myself, a lot that I learned of what's more important to me and where do I want to go, right? And it's the two most important things that I would say, and this I've been practicing even more and more. One, gratitude, massively. There's always something you can be grateful for. I always say that, listen, just the fact that we're able to sit here and have this conversation, right? Forget about all the other things. Just the fact you can get up every day, put your running shoes on, go to the gym or whatever, right? Is a massive privilege. I think I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson. You guys know Neil deGrasse? Smart, neuro, what do you call astrophysicist or whatever?
Astrophysicist.
Yes, that word. And he explained that the permutations and the amount of things that need to happen for you as Göran to be born, there's a complexity and a plethora of possibilities, but you are the one that happened. And there's many of them that will never happen. So there's so many other people that would never exist, right? But ultimately, this is the one that was formed, that happened. So there's so much of, I want to say, deliberateness in your existence, right? In addition to that is for me, the element of the discovery of what it is that you need to do. What is your contribution to the world? Because about a year ago, more than a year ago, I sat asking myself, doing the job and whatever, and you get to these things, right? Maybe sometimes more so when you're frustrated than not. Like, what the hell am I doing with my life, right? And which is a good question, right? If you really sit and you try to answer it, it's not, a lot of times you're not going to hear what you want to hear, right? But you can't lie to yourself, right? Or you shouldn't, rather. And, I kept asking myself this, right? And then that's when I started realizing, okay, look, I'm probably not where I should be in terms of the things that I want to contribute to the world. And that comes in the form of service. And if that service then it contributes to as a bonus from a financial perspective, then great. But I know that the things that I give from a service perspective that for me is something I would do for free are the things that energize me to be able to carry on, right? And that for me is the thing of trying to discover that. And if you find that, you're energized enough to do the hard things, right? The hard things don't seem that hard. But if everything is just all doom and gloom, and you're still not looking for that element that gives energy back or fills your cup again, you're not able to give out. And that almost speaks to the same thing that you said, Jacques, that you have to almost look after yourself to be able to look after others. So put back in your cup so you can also contribute to the world. Now, let's say, generally, there's always something that almost comes natural to you. And I almost want to say it's our responsibility to do what naturally comes to you that you can give to the world. And I think that's how I would say, in a way, we get to answer that issue of morality as in time goes by, right? that people start learning and say, what is it about Inge? What is it about Göran? What is it about Jacques? That then you start having these conversations, and that guides people, because I think the mind is, human beings, I would say, are the most fortunate in this aspect. I mean, if you think of an animal, what does he have to do? He just has to survive, right? Every day it's get up, I find food, live or die. That's it. With us, it's more than that, right?
Yeah.
It's you have the ability and possibility to be able to say, how can I be more? How do I contribute? How do I impact? How do I make a real difference, right? So yeah, that's, I could go on forever, but I would say
No, I
those
love
are
that.
the elements for
Love
me.
that. Love that. And I think and all three of you touched on a little bit in terms of it's quite important in what you surround yourself with, who you surround yourself with, right? Because I think you have got certain situations, certain individuals that are energy stealers. Then you've got people that actually pour back into you. And I think for me, as we're closing off this conversation, is that what I would like to put out there to the audience, whoever will listen to this, is that going forward, whether it's tomorrow or next year, but let that vision and that mission be around service. It's not about, if you're a business owner or even a professional in a corporate environment, it's not about what you get or how to get the next thing. It's about service. How can you improve that person's life? How can you improve the situation? Let the lasting thought, the lasting legacy of who you are, and the impact that you have brought be where somebody's better off or in a better condition. And so that for me is what I would leave with our audience members. If I can ask the three of you in closing, what is that parting thought that you would like to leave?
Well, we touched upon it. I think it's quite simple. It's not only about what to do, but also what not to do. And we shouldn't listen too much to outside sources, opinions, and especially not from somebody we don't really know or care about us, but concentrate on what is important for you. Stay authentic, stay with yourself.
Love that. Thank you, Göran.
Yeah, couldn't have said any better. I would say, yeah, you see, sometimes you should always try to go first. Then someone doesn't steal what you're about to say.
To follow up.
Yeah. No, so I think I same. I also touched on it just now. Is I think the big one for me is there is something that will probably tell you and guide you. This is where you have to go, right? There's an element of listening to it, being able to tune into it, tune into yourself, right? And that will almost be sort of a guide to a large degree to at least to start discovering where it is that you need to be. And that's when you start filling your cup. Filling your cup, you contribute better, ultimately, service. So that's what I would leave. Yeah.
Mine will be, and it's been my driving force for the past 2 weeks especially, is don't give up hoping and never stop dreaming. I think when you let go of those two things, then your cup will never be filled, because you almost broke your cup. It was cracked, too cracked and is leaking, can't contain. And because when you face all these, the most hardest challenges, there must be a hope. The storm will end. I will recover. My business will bounce back. I will get that job opportunity next time. And I'll hit that sales target, because like Göran said, there's so much outside factors that constantly bombard us, whether it's the economy, it's politics. I mean, we're going into elections next year. I don't even want to think about it. So it's all those, in fact, and then the likes on social media. I mean, I found LinkedIn to be actually more cruel than the Facebooks and the Instagrams, because, you know, sometimes you put so much effort and thought into a post and you get one like, and then you post something it's relevant, but more like okay, saw this, forward it on, slight comment, boom, viral. It's like, come on, man. So it's all those type of elements that you need to know. Like everybody said, know yourself, know your self-worth, know what you're worth. So like Felix said, boundaries, you know, and then give back. Like you say, service. Give back in service has different shapes and sizes and forms. And focus on those elements. But for yourself, as the person, as the employee, as the manager, as a young business entrepreneur, continue to dream. Hold on to that dream. Hold on to your hope, because it was given to you, not to someone else. It was yours. And then work with people to implement it, to grow it. And the right people, not the wrong people, the right people. And pray about these things. Have a foundation, whether it's religiously or wherever you find yourself, but it's always good to believe in a higher power, because man fails you. Empty promises, or the intention was there, but sorry, it couldn't materialize. And then what you're left with.
Sure. Gentlemen, powerful messages. It has been an absolute blessing and honor to have engaged with you. I've learned a heck of a lot. And thank you for being authentic, and thank you for being honest and real, just in terms of sharing who you are. Yeah, I hope to call on you with our next, some of our future ideas exchange webinars, and it would be nice to almost do a follow-up, continuation of the Discovery Channel, about where are they now. But a huge thank you, just for your honesty and your authenticity. And to the audience members who will be watching this, I do hope that you draw key lessons out of this. And yeah, every moment is not wasted. It is a moment that defines you. It's a moment that shapes you, who you are, and will inform how you interact with the next person. So yeah, let those stresses be a blessing and pay that forward. Gentlemen, a huge thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure. Nice meeting you, James, as well.
You too, gentlemen. Cheers, guys.